My name's Jessica, and I'm an insurance broker. Been doing this for many years, so kind of a desk jockey, sit at a computer all day. And like so many people, it has made me go up and down and give me aches and pains and not much activity in my life. I'm 63. I'm a mother and a grandmother, and I started my fitness journey off and on throughout my years. I've always gone from, like most women, yo-yoing up and down, weight going good for a while and then not so good for a while. And then as we start to age, we start having aches and pains and things like that. But I have finally found what's working for me, and I think that it can work for anybody, honestly.
I
I think
agree.
before I started working with Braun, I actually I'd lost about 60 pounds over the year prior, and I had started getting back into exercise. I knew that was an important part of it. And I started doing HIIT classes, which were, intense and exhausting at first, and then I started getting stronger, but I still didn't have the muscle, and I had some aches and pains that really weren't being addressed. So they kind of just lingered, and I just sort of muscled through the pain, that kind of thing. But I knew that there needed to be another step. When it comes to longevity, which I've studied a little bit about lately, I knew that I needed to lift, and I needed to lift heavy, and I needed to do it properly.
Mhm.
So that's when I started working with Braun, who actually has helped me rehab some of my aches and pains, like my shoulders, and also given me structure. It's not just about being accountable, where I am just have somebody who makes me show up and makes me do these things. It's more like there's so much more knowledge and so much more expertise in it, because he will work on things that are hurting when they're hurting and help me rehab them, teaching me proper form as well as stretching so that I don't get injured, and slowly bringing me along and not just slamming me with a ton of weights that's going to break my back.
Yep. And that's a great story. You're the type of client that actually, did prior exercising and then realized that this last individualized program is crucial for many, many aspects of fitness and health. And
Definitely.
so you did mention you had some aches and pains. What specific challenges, pain, or limitations were you dealing with that made you realize you needed more individualized help?
Well, prior to getting back in shape and losing all the weight, I'm starting to have for a long time now. Long time. I've had problems with my left shoulder, a little bit of aches with my left hip when going upstairs and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Some lower back weakness. I've had that for years, off and on.
Mhm.
And, some of that people will say, oh, it's old age, or, oh,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be. And that's really just a sign that your body is struggling and you need to help it. And so those things were kind of a nagging problem for me for some time. And even when I first started with the HIIT classes, I still had those issues. They'd get a little better, then they'd get worse again. And the HIIT classes were good, but they weren't as fine-tuned for taking care of me, because
Mhm.
there's a class full of people and everybody's sort of doing the same thing, and you don't getting that one-on-one that you really need to take care of your own specific
Mhm.
needs.
Mhm.
So that really was my biggest issue, and I've been getting stronger and having no troubles with my hip at all. My back is recovering and gets stronger all the time, and my shoulder got a lot more mobility than it used to, which is huge for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I sleep better.
That's good. That's important.
Yeah.
So what did you learn through this process, or what breakthrough did you have working with me that was different from other approaches you tried?
Well, I think one of the biggest things was it's not just I show up and I lift a lot of heavy weights. Certainly that's part of it, and that's good. That's what I love.
Hmm.
But there's so much more I've learned from specific stretches and even some very specific low weight exercises that are used to strengthen little tiny muscles that need to support the big muscles. Things like that. Just the knowledge that comes with, training. It's not just like, oh, here, do this, lift this. Since I've been working with you, Braun, I found that that it's not, it's just, you've taught me more than that. You've taught me things about like, what's the standard weight of the bar and how to add your weights and how to properly lift things when you're setting up. So if I ever walked into a gym
Yeah.
by myself, I would not quite feel as strange or as awkward. So I'm learning a lot more about it. And you're also taught me more about like, you don't just go say, oh, I did 20 pounds today, I'm gonna do 25 tomorrow. There's almost like this incremental thing that you build up and you build up and you do certain sets and certain numbers. There's like a whole scientific knowledge to it that I didn't realize before I started working with you, that there's all this subtleties. And then we had a deload week where we were just letting the body recuperate for that week and still working out, but working
Mhm.
out in a controlled way that the body was able to heal and do more of its resting and get stronger from it. So those type of subtleties are something that I wasn't aware of until I started working with you. So that was huge for me.
Nice. I love it. One thing I want to add on, what did you learn this morning too when it comes to nutrition?
Oh yeah, you got to eat before your workout. I typically would get up and not eat till later, so I'd just work out, and that didn't suit me. And I feel like that's also the thing that I'll have these feelings or I'll experience something, and then at our next meeting, I'll tell you this is what I was thinking or this is what I was feeling, and you and I discuss it, and then I realize, okay, there's another learning point. So definitely going to eat before my workouts.
Awesome. I
Give
love it.
myself something to work on.
Exactly. My next question would be, what specific improvements have you experienced since we started working together?
Well, I mean, obviously the improvements on less aches and pains and feeling stronger overall. But I have grandkids and they're all sizes, so
Yeah.
even 10-year-olds all the way down to little bitties and stuff. But I'm able to run with them. I'm able to play with them. I can pick them up. We can
Nice.
climb jungle gyms together. I don't worry about falling or being
Yeah.
careful on things. I feel like I'm fitter now at 62 than most people are when they're younger. I mean, definitely when I was younger, I can beat my 20-year-old's butt. And then the breakthroughs of just having a nicer defined sculpted body, which has given me a lot of confidence too.
Nice. Nice. And how many grandchildren do you have?
I have six, but seven is on the way.
Oh, lovely. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's considering working with me but is worried about very common objections, whether it's a cost, time, investment versus fear, or getting hurt, or skeptical about results?
I had the same thoughts, and I was concerned about the same sorts of things because it is a big investment. But, as I've gotten older, I've learned too that you can put off and say, I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't really have the time, or that won't work in my schedule, or whatever. And the truth is, you have to make yourself a priority and you have to do it now because nobody is guaranteed tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you're 60 or you're 20 or you're 40 or you're 80, there's no guarantees on your tomorrows. And one thing is for sure, if you don't invest in yourself now, you're going to end up when you're older having a lot of aches and pains, and you're going to end up spending probably equally as much on hospital bills and co-pays for fancy tests and things like that, and a lot of fancy prescriptions. I would rather pay the money now and
Yeah.
have a healthy life and be able-bodied and not be on prescription drugs in my old age and
Yeah.
having all kinds of surgeries for things that you don't need. So that's my biggest thing is that I know it's not easy, but there is a way to get it done. And when I first approached you and I was I wasn't sure, like, oh, how much should I commit? I think we started just doing 2 days a week or something
Mhm.
like that because we just were gonna try it. I just wanted to get my feet wet.
Mhm.
But that
Mhm.
was one of the wonderful things is you were very flexible with me and you were very honest with me and it was doable. And even now you're still extremely flexible. So if like my schedule changes or something doesn't work, you're like, well, we can squeeze it in over here or we can do it over there. Everybody has scheduling
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
So we work together to get that done and make sure we get the workouts done.
Great. Love it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
can't say enough though, because like I said, when I feel like I've been at thin in different times of my life, and I know as a person that I have always been self-conscious, thinking you couldn't be too thin, and oh, do I look fat
Mhm.
in this and that kind of stuff. And now I don't really care about that stuff as much.
Yeah.
I'm fit and I know I look fit,
Yeah.
and that's given me so much confidence when I walk into stores or restaurants or anywhere that I go. I feel
Awesome.
like doesn't matter if I'm not the skinniest one in the town, because I'm fit and I'm healthy and I know it. And that's given me such a great peace of mind.
For our viewers, would you show us your muscles?
It's hard to see, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's look at that. That's awesome. Great
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
So speaking of muscles and improvements, one of the last questions I want to ask you is, how quickly did you start noticing improvements? When did you realize this was really working for you?
Almost right away. I mean, I think the first few weeks we were together, it was exploratory. You're trying to
Mhm.
figure out what I'm good at, what I can do, how much weight can I do, what fatigues me, and then just learning the subtleties of like, well, how many more reps can you squeeze out? But I felt like almost right away I started feeling stronger and more muscular, and I knew I had the soreness, which I love. I always call soreness as like my badge of honor. I know I've been doing something and I've achieved something, I've done something good if I'm sore. So I like the soreness, and I always feel like now my body is definitely shape is changing. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm I don't have a six pack, but I got a two pack. I'm starting to see definition in my abdomen that I never had before.
And we've
And
been training for what, 3 months?
yeah,
Is it
I
three
think
months?
so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's definitely showing.
Yep.
Yeah, because people say it. I mean, I see people and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're looking great," and you're like, "Oh, you're so fit," or "You're so ripped," or whatever.
And I told you that too. I would obviously never, deceive or lie to my clients. And even though I see you pretty much almost every day because you come to classes as well, I told you I noticed the difference in
Yeah.
your legs, in your leanliness, and so um,
And that just inspires me to want to keep going and to want to,
yeah,
to be able to see that more definition
yeah.
and stuff.
If you had to describe in one sentence what working with me has meant for your life, what would you say?
I mean, it means everything. I think it means health, it means longevity, it means, confidence, robust, it's
Love it.
it's just everything. I think that honestly it's something that everybody should get into. And it doesn't matter what at level you're at, because you could be 100 pounds overweight and you think, oh no, I'll wait till I get down in my weight and stuff. But the muscle eats up fat and burns calories even when you're sleeping. So just start building anywhere at any time. You're better off to build that muscle and pull that weight. It's one of the key markers, and all the experts say it. Key markers of longevity is building that muscle, because you're gonna lose it automatically as you age. So
Mhm.
you have to build it all the time, and you have to work. And I've totally got it in my head that this is something I will do till the day I die. I'm going to be a 80, 90-year-old granny, and I'm still going to be lifting weights because I know that's the key.
Yep. Lovely. I mean, I can't say anything more. You have an amazing story, and I'm so proud of you, the work you've done.
Thank you.
You're also a super cool person, so you're the type of client that a coach will only wish for. So I thank you for that. I thank you for coming out today and share your beautiful story with other people. And
Oh, it's
I'm
worth it.
excited for your next chapter.
Yeah, me too. And thank you. I'm appreciative that I have you in my life.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Okay, have a great and rest of the day, Jessica.
All right. Bye.
Bye.